All right, welcome everybody to today's webinar. My name is Kyle. I'll be the moderator today. Today's topic is speeding up your sales process and increasing accuracy, and it's being presented by Scott Rockins. Here you go, Scott.
Thanks, Kyle, and thank you everyone for joining us for today's webinar. We're going to just give you a quick reminder here of the other webinars and workshops in our first quarter of presentations. So today we're going to talk about speeding up your sales process, increasing accuracy, and next week we're going to have a morning workshop that's all about maybe one of the key ways you might speed up your process, which is barcoding, and all the things you can do with barcoding, a little bit how you select your devices and so on. Just a little bit more about that workshop. This is a 4-hour meeting next Thursday. We're going to go through what you can do with barcoding, what kind of hardware you need to purchase to make good use of the barcoding system, how you can get barcodes into your software, how you can use it at point of sale, in receiving, counting, and a few other things that are kind of nifty that you can do with barcodes. So we'll hope to see you there. Today, in our webinar today, we're going to talk through some really simple, hopefully straightforward little tools you can use that might just save you that 1 or 2 seconds per sale, or lead you to the right area, or help to make something more accurate. And all of these are quite simple on their face, but each of them, you might find your own way to use it. And we're going to start with something that some of our customers use extensively, and some customers, I'm pretty sure, don't even know that it exists. So the quick sale screen. So what this means is that there's a different interface than your typical interface in System 5. Before I just jump into it, I would like to know from you guys, how many of you are, just in general, dealing with a lineup scenario when you're operating your business? That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna share that. So it looks actually like, for the most part, that's not a common scenario. So it may be that some of these things I'm going to show you are more for your staff than for speed of getting them through the line. So the first tool we're going to review is the quick sale screen. Now what this is, as opposed to your regular user interface for running a sale, is a customizable, possibly touch screen that your staff can use to ring people through. It enables you to do things such as create your own menu systems and create buttons to sell particular products. It works very well with barcoding or on its own, and it works well with a touchscreen, but you don't require a touchscreen. You can still type and use your mouse normally. Quite customizable, and that's maybe one of the main hurdles of it, or downsides if you want, is that you have to do the work to build it. So I am going to just demonstrate that quickly and then show you to where you can find it should you want to pursue that.
Hey, Scott, real quick, with that quick sale screen and the buttons that you were talking about, another use case of that is for items that are heavy, that you don't want your sales staff to be lifting to find the barcode as well.
Oh yeah, so it's too, yeah, that's a great, or that are even not even coming through the register, right? They're too big, they're just getting put on a truck somewhere maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's awesome, Kyle. Yeah, so there's probably quite a few use cases. We commonly see this deployed if you are a fast-paced retail, like a garden center, for example. However, or a liquor store is another common place it's used. But I've seen it used in all kinds of places because of its flexibility. you could really change your sales process quite a bit. So here's an example of it, the quick sale screen. Now this is a sort of a demo set, and you can see there's certain buttons here that you would see normally when running a sale. Change the invoice type. Well, it looks different, but it's doing the same thing. This P here is for parking the sale, so setting that aside so you can help a different customer while someone goes to pick something else out. A link to the delivery calendar or to the ship to tab of an invoice, and things like commonly sold items. So here's an example of creating a little menu so that I can quickly sell these products by clicking a button with no product lookup needed whatsoever. So this is fast, but another good reason for it is accuracy. You don't have to have staff who know part numbers to sell the things that you create this menu system for. This is a very simple one, but you can make them more in depth. You can make them come along the side here, or you can have them pop up in the middle of the screen. So you can do all kinds of things with this screen. This is a nice tidy interface that I have designed here. I'm just going to show you where to find the designer, and then you might want to consider watching some videos in your Learning Academy about the designer, and or getting some additional services from our professional services department to give you a hand in designing the interface, because there's a little bit to it. So I am just going to exit without printing that sale. And oh, I'm in a cash sale. Better take some money. If you'd like to pursue the design of that, you can find the designer in the setup wizard. Scroll down to the bottom of your setup wizard, and under point of sale devices, you will see touchscreen support. Now again, it does work well with touchscreens, but you don't have to use a touchscreen. You can still use your mouse and keyboard. You can see I have it enabled, and you can click this Edit Global Layout to get into the design area. And this is the designer. It allows you to design different aspects of the interface. There's a little bit to it. We're not going to go through all of it today. My main point for today's webinar is that this is accessible to you. It doesn't have to cost you money. You can design a new user experience for your staff, helping customers, which could help speed. It could also just make sure, like we did the example of these products, making sure they pick the right product or service, or in Kyle's example, making it easier for them to sell something without knowing the part number or trying to reach around and scan a barcode. There's a lot you can do here. Just keep that in mind as an alternative to your standard screen. So as some of you might have this as the default actually, in which case this is the standard workflow. The standard workflow has immediate access to all the bells and whistles of System 5. The touchscreen requires that you choose which features are accessible while you use it. Another really handy thing that can help speed up your staff, and this is not just at point of sale actually, this can help throughout your business. It's commonly overlooked, it's very simple to use, and it can really help you find the things in System 5 that you use every day or your staff use every day and just make them more accessible. It's called the quick list, and it's the bar across the top of your screen. I'm just going to quickly show you how to do this for yourself. This doesn't require any technical knowledge at all, and it's a really easy way to get your favorite reports or functions of the software all in one spot. So you can see my quick list is along the top here. cancel out of here. And if I want to add a button to this top list, pardon me, click on your navigator, and then you'll see down at the bottom of the navigator, it's a little hard to notice at first, there's a customize button. If you click on that, it will turn the screen gray here, and you'll be able to choose what you'd like to add to your quick list. So let's say I'm working in the bookkeeping department and I need to add a quick way to look at the transactions in a ledger, for example. Do a non-sales example. I can select the report or feature that I like to use all the time, right-click my mouse, and I can add that to the quick list. Now you should visually see that relocate, and you can see there's a quick list menu here. To retain that for my interface, I want to be logged in as the person who needs it, and hit Save Changes. And now that's right here. You can also do this for a group of employees at one time through a very similar workflow. You hit the Customize button, and then you need your supervisor override. So in case you're not aware of how to do that, you come down to this bottom gray bar, you right-click your mouse in this box here, and you click Supervisor Override, which you need to have access to do this. You'll see that start flashing red down here. This enables the multi-user selection, which lets me pick another report. Let's say we frequently run our commission report, let's say. Then I can right-click that and add that to my quick list for multiple users, and I can pick who they are. And then save the changes. And that makes the change for a group of people or for everyone. The quick list, if you're not using it, is usually one of the ways you can really avoid people getting lost in the menu system, trying to look and getting frustrated by trying to find what they need to either close the sale and move on to the next customer. Same for the purchaser, receiver, accountant, bookkeeper. They all have the tools they want to use every day up top. You'll find frustration levels are lower and that you can move faster. Okay, so actually I have another question just to keep you guys on your toes. How often do you have a problem where people sell the wrong thing? Customer walks out with the correct product, but the wrong SKU is used. Okay, it looks like that's a fairly common thing among the group. So when you think about the things we've just looked at, can I use the touchscreen interface or design to mitigate that? We'll talk about, barcoding is a good solution for that as well. And part finding is also a good solution. So just keep that in mind as we go through things here. Next on our list is this nifty trick. So if you're doing a lot of special ordering, then we're not going to go through the whole special order process today, though we do have a workshop on that later in the year, and there's lots of Learning Academy content on that topic. If you're using that process, there's a quick and easy way to create a purchase order right from the point of sale. This is typically used in businesses where if I'm the salesperson and I'm helping a customer, I'm writing a work order for them, it's also my responsibility to ensure that the product is ordered for my client. So I want to create a separate PO for that invoice, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio, maybe, possibly anyway, of one PO for one customer, or one job is when this is often used. However, you can use it in any sort of ordering setup. It's just a quick way to create a PO from the point of sale. It's kind of hidden in the menus here. This can be used with back orders and special orders. So we're going to do an example. So my example, let's suppose that Smith Construction is building some properties, and I'm their go-to supplier of appliances for those properties. So here, I'm going to sell a product, and let's pick something we don't have. We'll sell this Kenmore here. So I'm presented with the out of stock warning, and I need to special order this product or back order this product. I'm going to special order and queue that up as normal. If any of you are not using special orders, this is an excellent way to tie your sales process to your ordering process to make sure the right people get the right product. So now you can see that although the customer has ordered one of these, we don't currently have any stock, and a special order has been triggered. So this can be used to create purchase orders. But if you want to create that PO right now, you can do so from the options button. You can go over to invoice options, special orders, and this is why I say you can use this with back orders or special orders. If there was just a back order on there, I could switch it to a special order real quick, especially if there's a whole bunch of them. And then I can create a PO for all special orders. So if I do this right now, the system will open a PO and drop that Kenmore right on the PO. If it's suitable for your business, if this makes sense for your ordering process, this is a great way to make sure that that PO is created right away while you're helping the customer, and then you just need to make sure that it's sent off to the vendor, of course. It ensures that there's no disconnect at all between the person selling the product and the person ordering it. The only sort of downside of that is now you've got one PO for each sale, and for meeting freight minimums and things like that, sometimes you want to consolidate orders. I've seen both sort of setups in different businesses. Now, you can also do this with a back order, and it just looks slightly different. So we'll go through that again. So let's say they want one more of these, but I'm in a business where we don't use that special order feature. We use the back order feature. But in this case, I do want a special order. So I've got a back order here for this product. I can do the same thing here. I can go under invoice options, special orders, and I can change it to a special order. And you just imagine if I had 10 of these things, it would do this for me for all 10. And then I could create the PO. Now, in my example here, I'm going to end up with 2 POs. Realistically, you would just do 1 PO after you'd finished all the lines there. It's likely that that conversation may generate a question. We're going to stop for questions here in a few minutes. Cloning estimates or templates. Now, this is used in a lot of businesses where in a similar situation, it's often used when I do business with a contractor. They're building 30 homes or 30 apartments, and really most of these have the same package, commonly used in the lighting industry. And this allows you to have a starting point that has certain things on it all the time. So for example, layers or certain products, like maybe you have a package. but it's long, it's 20, 30 lines long, and rather than rewriting that every time or using a kit, you create an estimate, which you can then clone. And what this can also help with is avoid different salespeople trying to sell the same thing, but using different products to do it. And it can avoid inconsistencies in invoices between, say, 2 jobs for the same customer. So it's speed and its accuracy in this instance. So first you'd need to create an estimate. So let's just do that. Estimate doesn't require a customer. In a template setup, you don't want a customer usually, although you could if the invoice is always for the same customer. And I'm just going to throw some product on here. Stick with the appliances theme. So I have a couple products. Now let's suppose that this is a standard package that I sell for every unit in a complex, or it's just a really common combination of products that I sell over and over. Winterization on my RVs, or trying to think of other examples. I usually deal with it with contractors building homes. You can think of any examples, Kyle, where people are doing the same sale all the time? Think come to mind?
Yeah, so in like a building materials type of business, like shed packages and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah. So anytime that you want to recreate it. So then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the comments section, and I'm going to make it so that this estimate's easy to find. I'm going to use what's called a lookup word, and I'm going to create a new lookup word, but you can see I have several that I use. And this one I'm just going to call temp or template. So now this invoice has a search term or lookup word attached to it. Then I could be doing things like adding layers or specific products or services to it that I want to clone every single time. So sometimes this gets quite in depth, but now I'll just show you how to clone it. I'll exit out of this. And if I want to use that same package for another transaction, instead of going to new sale, I can go to edit sale. I'm going to use this advanced search, and I'm going to use the lookup word field here and search by my lookup word. There's my estimate. Rather than opening the template, I wouldn't want to do that. I want to duplicate the template by using the duplicate button up top. Now I can make sure I've sold the exact same products. But of course, after you do that, you would need to go into the customer tab and or the ship to tab. Just a note there, if you are dealing with builders, you would probably in the original estimate put in the main contractor customer and clone that every time, and then just change out the ship to. So if you're in lighting and you're not doing this, it's probably a huge time saver for you. You build the home package once, and then you clone it and clone it and clone it, and then make tweaks to it after the cloning process. So that's cloning. This is a similar tool. This is just an easy way to take commonly purchased products that your customer likes to buy and drop them onto the invoice quickly. So it allows you to answer the question, oh, well, I bought this last time and loved it, quickly and efficiently. So I'll open a new sale for one of my important clients here. and we'll head over to the recent purchases tab, and you can see all the things they've purchased, how much of them they have purchased, and you can pick from the list the products that you want to purchase again and simply add them to the invoice. It's just one of those features that people maybe just don't know about. It's easy to use. There's no setup really required, and it lets you find what they bought last time really quickly. So if you're looking to find more help on the things I talked about today, then this is where you're going to find free resources, is in the Learning Academy. The tags I'd suggest you use, and the Learning Academy is most easily searched using tags. Use Quick List if you're interested, or Touchscreen if you're interested, and the Recent Purchases tab. And it just in general, a lot of these things that I've shown you, some of them may not have a whole video about them in the Learning Academy. So you might also find in the Learning Academy, if you hit the Need Help button, on the left here, you can see you can go through the menu items and find specific documentation about the feature. That's also quite helpful. And Kyle's just going to say a few words about our upcoming workshops here.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. You're going to hear it twice, right? You already heard it from Scott. You're going to hear it from me now. Just remember that we have the Essentials of Barcoding workshop next week. So you can get signed up for that if you're planning to attend. There's a short little 1.5-minute video right on the landing page there at windwardsoftware.com/events. This event is $299. Can you just run to the next slide there, Scott?
Yeah.
And then if you want to get the entire Get Profitable bundle, there's a number of workshops that are bundled up together, so you save. The original price on that was $750, and now since there's a couple recordings, you don't get the live event for the first two that have already passed. We did reduce the cost of that. We're not going to put it into today's recording, so you'd have to check it out online. But if you do go to windwardsoftware.com/events, there's a button right there that'll get you to the March workshop, which is the barcoding. And then, of course, that's going to get you, there's all the pricing right there. So yeah, that's the current price. The pricing may change later on down the road as well. So, and then we do have next quarter's events coming up as well. So please do go on over there and check out all of the great things that we have to offer at sales.windwardsoftware.com. All right, I think we're ready for Q&A. So as we go along, let's go ahead and get some questions in there. There was a comment that things go a lot faster for you. I think your computer's working a little slow there today, Scott. So throw your questions in the Q&A, and then I'll go ahead and get them answered here real quick. We do have two of them for you already, Scott. One is about the recent purchases. We saw how you could select the individual items. Is there just a way to do the entire purchase? I think that kind of stems from the fact that you could do that for the template, but could you do it for the entire invoices?
Let's try it from the start. Good question. I don't think I know, so we'll just try it. So
I do know that you can do it from the customer record.
Yeah. Well, here, let's try it. So we'll just open up a new work order for these guys. Well, these guys have a lot of, well, that's okay. They have a lot of products. Usually you can just pick this top. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Okay, let's do it from the customer record, which is worth showing as well, I think. So let's suppose that I'm going to do this not from the invoice, but create an invoice from the customer's record. That's another way to access the recent purchases, as Kyle pointed out. So if we go into customers, and we'll try someone with fewer just so this doesn't bog us down. We're gonna do Eugene here. All right, now he's gonna find the tab. Purchases tab here under, this isn't exactly the same as the,
right next to it is the invoices tab. There's stuff.
Right, so if you just want to clone a previous invoice, you can do that here. Yep. And if the template is tied to the customer, like the template we saw, then it would appear here as a template as well. So I can duplicate something from here, just like that, if I know which sale it is. Also, alternatively, there's also this purchases tab. That's really the same, isn't it? So if we go here.
Yeah, it indicates which invoice number it's on too, so it would kind of.
Yeah, a little bit of overlap, I guess. Hey, so if we, here you're gonna see the product they purchased over a time frame. Let's try that. Maybe I picked the wrong customer here. Oh, that's my problem.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's interesting. I bought something last year, right?
Yeah, exactly. I probably don't have enough data in here for that to be, but the last couple months I will. So there's the things that Eugene purchased in that time frame. So that lets you really nail it down. And you can add the selected here and those to a new invoice or an open one. So that's another way of really dealing with the same issue.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a question from John that says, "Are you guys using the cloud-based version of Windward?" On these demonstrations, we are not using the cloud-based version of Windward. In fact, we are just using a demo on Scott's machine. And when we do these webinars, there is a lot of software running on his machine at the same time in order to do the webinar. So that does kind of like contribute to the slowness that we're seeing here. Erica made a comment, not a question, just wanted to say how how she loves how customizable the quick sales screen is. It's made things a lot faster for them. And then there was another one here. When you generate the POs, this goes, couldn't you just leave it open and then add to it later?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can end up with too many POs open, and so your purchaser, depending on your structure, if you've got a purchaser or if you have purchasers, you want to talk internally about how you're going to do that, because I have seen people who like the cloning and like the special ordering, for example, and they are all using the special ordering, and then somebody will throw one on their own PO but not send it, and then the same product can accidentally get ordered by the purchaser. So you really need to have a baked-in process. Does the purchaser authorize the purchases, or do the salespeople take responsibility for the ordering themselves, which I've seen in some setups?
It's kind of an internal decision to make how you want to do it. Some companies just do an order day, and then they consolidate everything on that day and send it so that they can make freight minimums and all those types of things.
Yeah. So another, I don't know if I'm well positioned to demonstrate this, but another workflow I've seen is where people do on the sale, when they're helping people, they just use the back order button so that the sales clerk doesn't have to put in any details or go through the special order dialog box. They just use back orders.
Yeah.
But then they use this to flip them all to special orders.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
At the end.
Some like setting up before you could actually show it, but
yeah. And like, so for example, say I have a template, but everything on my template is most likely out of stock all the time. Like I always order it job by job. I open the template, flip it to a work order, and if my default is special ordering, every line has to be addressed. If it's back ordering, then you don't have to do that. The required orders report too, in case anybody's just new to the special ordering thing. Little extra tidbit, it's this report right here. If you're not creating the PO right away, but you are special ordering or back ordering, it's this report that will help you build your POs, the required orders report. We won't go into detail there because it's outside of our scope today, but point you in the right direction.
yeah, we're actually already over time anyway. So
yeah.
We had some great questions today. Is there anything else that you wanted to add at the end here, Scott, or are we good?
No, that's great. That's what we wanted to cover today. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll look forward to seeing some of you, I hope, at the barcoding event next week. And if not, at the webinar next month. Have a great day.
Yeah, and if it works correctly, once we end this webinar, there should be a little video from Scott right after. So thanks for attending, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.